Corporate Karma Case Files. Confidential, unfiltered, corporate.
All right, let's just jump right into this explainer, because today we're tackling something that honestly might make you a little uncomfortable. Look, if you've been grinding out 60-hour weeks, crushing all your metrics, doing literally everything right, but you still feel completely stuck in your role, well, listening to this might just be the most important career move you make today. For the next few minutes, I want you to think of me as your senior mentor. I'm going to give you the tough love and the totally unvarnished truth about the corporate machine. Because here's the reality. This whole idea of a pure corporate meritocracy, it's kind of an illusion. And honestly, nothing is more universally frustrating than hearing this exact phrase. To really get how this works, let's talk about Rohan. Rohan was an absolute operations ace. I mean, for 11 months straight, he shattered every metric, led massive projects, mentored the junior staff. He did absolutely every single thing his manager Priya asked him to do. But when it finally came time for that well-deserved promotion, Priya sat him down and dropped this classic line on him. "You're so close, we just need to see a little more leadership presence." And boom, just like that, the goalpost moved, again. And you know, this perfectly captures the core disconnect that almost all high performers eventually face. We really need to just shatter this illusion of the meritocracy myth right now. See, from day one, we're taught that promotions are basically gold stars for past homework, right? You work hard, you get promoted. But the corporate reality is a whole different ballgame. Companies aren't primarily rewarding your past. They're calculating your future value. They're sitting there asking, okay, what will this person do for us in this new role? That one single shift in perspective, it literally changes exactly how you need to play the game. So I highly recommend you grab a notebook right now, because we're about to tear up the standard employee handbook. So here's our game plan for today's explainer. First up, we'll uncover the 6 hidden rules. Then we'll walk through 5 steps to actually control your career trajectory. After that, we'll dive into a tracking template you can use, and we'll wrap the whole thing up with a workplace influence checklist. All right, let's get into section 1, the 6 hidden rules. Basically, what HR is definitely not putting in their slide deck. Yeah, these are the unspoken realities of the corporate machine that you definitely won't find in some sunny, overly optimistic onboarding presentation. Rule 1 is a tough pill to swallow. Visibility beats performance, always. You've got your measured performance, the person who silently builds the actual work, and then your perceived performance, the person who presents it. And studies consistently show that perceived performance absolutely outweighs measured performance. Why? Well, it's just physics, really. Light travels, silent hard work doesn't. If you're out there silently planting a whole forest, but someone else is presenting the map of it to the executive team, well, they're the one who gets remembered. Moving on to rule 2, and this is about incentive misalignment. It's a cold truth, but hey, as your mentor, I need you to hear it. Your manager's incentives are not your incentives. Think back to Rohan's manager, Priya. Priya looks incredible to her directors because her team's output is off the charts, mostly thanks to Rohan. If she promotes him, she loses her absolute best resource and has to spend 6 months training a replacement. Her incentives point directly at keeping him exactly where he is. Okay, let's look at rule 3. The decision is made before the conversation even happens. So many people think their annual performance review is where the promotion actually gets decided. Actually, scratch that. It isn't. The review is just where the decision is announced to you. The real decision, that happens weeks earlier in closed-door executive calibration meetings. By the time your name is on an agenda, opinions are already formed. Which means having a supportive manager isn't enough. You desperately need a sponsor inside that closed room advocating for you. Rule 4 tells us to move the work up. Look, promotions go to the people who start doing the next job before anyone even asks them to. And you don't do this by stepping on your boss's toes or undermining them. You do it by making your boss's job visibly easier. Anticipate what the level above you is going to need next. Flag risks early, way before they blow up in anyone's face. Summarize information neatly upward. When leadership looks at you, they shouldn't just see a great employee. They need to see someone they are actively losing money by not promoting. Now, rule 5 is absolutely crucial. Build a coalition. In a true meritocracy, your track record alone gets you promoted. But in a corporation, your coalition does. Seriously, who talks about you when you leave the room? Which peers in totally different departments are going to speak up for you? Your career travels on the relationships you build with cross-functional allies, not just the bullet points on your resume. And you have to genuinely help people without keeping score to build that kind of network. And that brings us to Rule 6, which is honestly perhaps the most powerful of them all, optionality. You must have credible outside job options to create internal leverage. If you don't have options, you are negotiating with zero leverage, and believe me, the system knows it. As the source material puts it brilliantly, people are not promoted out of gratitude. They are promoted out of risk management. Having external market value makes the cost of losing you incredibly real to your current company. Moving on to Section 2, 5 Steps to Control. These are Rohan's exact moves to beat the system. All right, so those are the harsh realities. Now let's shift gears to actionable strategy. How do we actually take back control? Let's check back in with Rohan. Around month 17, when Priya tried to move the goalpost yet again, Rohan finally stopped just nodding along. He politely asked her to define specifically what exec visibility looked like, and he got it in writing. Then, over the next 3 months, he quietly executed these 5 exact tactical moves. First, he found a sponsor by solving a cross-functional bottleneck and presenting the fix directly to a VP named Marcus. Second, he started doing the next job by sending Priya these unprompted Friday risk summaries that made her look fantastic to her bosses. Third, he built a coalition by starting a quiet monthly coffee group with other under-recognized peers. Fourth, he created optionality by finally taking recruiter calls and securing 2 outside offers. And fifth, he rigorously documented every single moving goalpost his manager set. Let's look at how this compounds. Month 17, the goalpost moves. Month 18, he gets in front of Marcus, securing that crucial sponsor. By month 19, his peer coalition starts talking him up to their own managers. His network is literally working for him while he sleeps. And by month 20, he knows his exact market worth because he's holding outside offers. The entire dynamic completely flipped. He made the cost of losing him visible to everyone above Priya, changing our calculus entirely. Which brings us to Section 3, the tracking template. How to document those moving goalposts. So let's look at move number 5 in a bit more detail, because this is where you build a quiet, indisputable paper trail. I'd highly encourage you to literally take a screenshot of this template right now. You just need 4 columns: the date, the specific metric or goalpost your manager gave you, the exact action you took to meet it, and your tangible proof. When your manager says something vague like, "You need more cross-functional collaboration," you write it down. You email them a quick summary to confirm it. You execute on it, and you log the proof right here. This template completely neutralizes a manager's ability to vaguely shift the bar on you 6 months later. And so, what was the payoff for Rohan? Well, by month 22, Priya couldn't move the goalpost anymore. The VP, Marcus, was already asking about Rohan's development. Priya literally had to promote him just to get the credit before someone else scooped him up. Rohan got the title promotion, the salary raise, and an expanded scope. And listen, he didn't get this because the system was magically fair. He got it because he learned the language of the system. Strategic patience, backed by solid receipts, it pays off big time. Finally, Section 4, the Workplace Influence Checklist. Time to audit your true leverage. Let's do a quick diagnostic together to see exactly where your true leverage stands in your company today. As I read these out, I want you to mentally answer just yes or no. Number 1, are my manager's incentives actually aligned with my advancement, or does my staying put benefit them more? 2, is my absolute best work visible to the people who actually make promotion decisions, or is it just my boss seeing it? 3, do I have a sponsor who sits above my manager's level? 4, have I started doing the next level's job, or am I just perfectly executing my current one? And 5, what is my optionality? Like, do they actually know the cost of losing me? If you answered no, or I don't really know to most of those questions, I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. Do you actually have a performance problem, or do you have a strategy problem? Look, the system might be rigged, but rigged systems still have rules, pressure points, and sequences. You can stop waiting around for fairness and start playing the game intelligently. Take these lessons, audit your strategy, and go take control of your career.
Like, comment, subscribe. The next case file opens soon.